The internet, the 99% in reality TV, collide to create a true story stranger than fiction. You're watching Beyond the Trailer's review of The Bling Ring.
I just think we wanted to be a part of, like, the lifestyle that everybody kind of wants.
Hey, I can be the answer. I'm ready to dance when the vampire...
Paris Hilton's hosting a party in Vegas tonight.
Where does she live? Do you think we could find a way in?
I don't know.
Come on, let's go to Paris's. I want to rob.
I was in the 212 on the uptown angle.
Awesome.
You know what's up, or don't
Oh
you?
my god!
I'm a rude bitch, nigga.
That's a cute dress. Did you get a new dress? Mm-hmm.
We had so many beautiful things.
Oh, we'll break. I bet you do.
For decades ago, celebrities were far removed from their fans, seen only in magazine photos and newsreels carefully constructed by the big companies that cashed in on those stars. But as the invention of the internet brought the world closer together, it also brought fans closer to celebrities. First, there were the socialite sex tapes, where Paris Hilton, followed by her former BFF Kim Kardashian, were able to leak supposedly private videos to a huge audience they couldn't have reached prior to the internet. Those tapes brought them instant fame, which then led to reality TV shows, which led to merchandising lines, and so on. Indeed, it soon became clear that this new breed of celebrity won over fans by giving them a previously unseen level of access to their personal lives, with such spectacular results that more legitimate stars began to copy their tactics. But on the flip side, a level of envy began to build up, as other lower-rung socialites began to wonder why they weren't the next Paris or Kim. This micro version of the 1% versus the 99% was amplified by the fact that the line between the two was so scant. In fact, it seemed that all one needed to do to jump from one group to the other was something scandalous. But what's more scandalous than a sex tape? How about a robbery? That's exactly what occurred to three Los Angeles socialites who just finished filming their own reality TV pilot, Pretty Wild, for E! Partying at the same clubs as their C and D level celebrity heroes, these girls formed the Bling Ring, scouting said celebrities' homes via Google Street View, then using social media to determine when they'd be out and their homes empty. Even more audaciously, the Bling Ring bragged about the robberies on Facebook, complete with incriminating pictures. But while the girls ended up getting the equivalent of a slap on the wrist from the judicial system, their real punishment was that their criminal activities failed to lead to fame and fortune. At least not yet. Luckily for them, former LA socialite turned film auteur Sofia Coppola came across their feature in Vanity Fair and quickly snapped up the film rights. And with Emma Hermione Watson in the lead role, Coppola has her best shot in a decade at recapturing her lost in translation heat. Can the more experienced Coppola succeed where the Bling Ring failed?
So when I first reviewed the trailer for The Bling Ring, I said that this was, the yang to Spring Breaker's yin. And after seeing the film, I really do still feel that way. I mean, this is almost like the male and female perspective of a certain kind of youth culture that's come up in America. So that was kind of fascinating in and of itself. So if you have a chance to see both, you really should, because they really do complement each other. But the other thing that I think is interesting about both these films, it was particularly highlighted here though, because the female characters are better developed in this film than in Spring Breakers, is that for so long Hollywood has kind of perpetrated this myth that women themselves aren't interested in committing crimes, but are always kind of like along for the ride with their husbands or boyfriends, and it's really kind of the means of getting a date, I guess you could say. But films like Spring Breakers, and it also particularly, but even there's a male character, James Franco, who is really pulling those female characters into this world. But in The Bling Ring, these women, they pull a male character in, and it's their idea. And actually, fascinatingly, the characters in this movie don't really date at all. They have really no personal romantic lives. So this is just committing crimes for other purposes than romance. And so I kind of like that. I think that's great. I mean, as I said when I was talking about Spring Breakers, there are women's prisons full of women, and for a reason. And I think Hollywood, it's interesting to see Hollywood start to explore that mentality. So what do I think of the actual Bling Ring film? I thought it was, really interesting. It was very standard Sofia Coppola, ethereal filmmaking, like more mood filmmaking. But I think it's the best job she's done to date. And she had a very strong artistic voice. So that was kind of exciting to see. I've sometimes criticized Catherine Bigelow because I feel she doesn't have a very strong voice. I feel she's almost like a pseudo-documentary filmmaker, which is impressive, but I don't think she has a strong a voice or an opinion, I guess. I don't think Catherine Bigelow has a strong opinion, but I think that Sofia Coppola here, at least in this film, does have those things, and she really takes command of the film and guides what you're seeing. I also think that Sofia Coppola has a tremendous eye for talent. Emma Watson, if you're an Emma Watson fan, you're going to just go crazy over this movie. She does a fantastic job. She's really good. I'd read that she was very worried about her character going into a caricature, but I think she succeeds in that she does deliver a commentary on this kind of person who really does exist. If anyone watches reality TV, they see them. But I think that Emma Watson makes her very real and, does an excellent job. I don't know if this film is at the level where it could get awards nominations, but maybe a Golden Globe. I could see some interest there, especially for Emma Watson. I think she did a really nice job. But there's some newcomers here who are particularly good. I really liked Katie Chang. I thought she was great as kind of like the ringleader. But like a kind of like very deceptive ringleader. Like you're like, oh yeah, I guess she is the ringleader. So that was the way she handled that was really nice. It's also nice to see an Asian actress. I'm all for diversity in film, and it's nice to see it here. But it's nothing's ever made of it, which is nice. But I think the real breakout star in this film, though, is Israel Broussard, who plays the new student at school, their gay friend, and which is also never really made a big deal about it. A very subtle film, and I liked that. But he was really charismatic. I mean, there's a scene where he's just voguing in a camera on a computer, and I thought that he was just, I mean, that's such a culture of this community. I mean, it's so easy to film. I filmed these off of the webcam on my computer, and he really, you could watch him for about, let's say, 2 or 3 minutes, and he held your attention. He was really good. I was really impressed with his work. The other thing that I thought was so interesting about the film, as I said, was the commentary on this society, this kind of weird celebrity world that I talked about in the beginning that sprung up. And, this really is Paris Hilton's house, which I think adds a degree of interest to the film. I wish they'd almost made it clear in the opening credits when they said based on real events. And we actually go to Paris Hilton's house, because I think that adds so much to the film when you're watching it. Because, I mean, it's like something out of Grey Gardens almost, or like it's heading in that direction, Paris Hilton's home. I'm actually a little surprised that she would let people see it, because, I mean, the fact that she thinks that everyone's going to be so envious of my house is weird in and of itself. And the horrible things they say about Paris Hilton when they're in her house, it was just kind of weird to watch it and see her cooperation. But the other thing is that you see that she has all this stuff, and they were able to go to her house and take things. And Paris Hilton never noticed, because she just had so much. She almost turned all of these expensive things into junk in her house. And you see these celebrities' homes, and you see the way shoes are just on counters, just lined up, because there's no space for them in the closets anymore. And it almost makes you feel like it's not such a big thing that these people stole this stuff, because the celebrities themselves are getting it for free from the companies that make it. I mean, I'm not aware. I don't know if you know that, and I'm not aware if you are aware of that. But celebrities get a ton of stuff for free just because the companies and the designers want them to be seen wearing it. So if Lindsay Lohan gets 5 free pairs of shoes that she didn't pay for, what's the real harm if someone comes and takes one of them that she doesn't even notice is missing? So that was interesting too. And the other thing I wanted to say before I go, I mean, these are all things that you can take from the film, and as you can see, it really makes you think. But there was another scene where they're in Megan Fox's home, and Emma Watson's character is on the bed, and she's looking around, and on the side table there's a script. And my first thing was, ooh, what script is she reading? Let's take a look at it. And the Emma Watson character just has no interest in that script whatsoever. She's looking instead of the personal photo of her with Megan Fox with Brian Austin Green and her jewelry, and it just shows that this culture doesn't care about how you get all this stuff. They just want the stuff, which I would say is kind of, indicative of the actors and actresses that they robbed. And maybe that's why those people's careers isn't going so well either. And, also the film makes you think about the perp walk as a catwalk. It was just, it really made me think. I thought it was fascinating, and it really adds, I think, a necessary perspective to this culture, the Us Weeklies, the People magazines, the TMZ, kind of what that's doing to the audience, to turn that camera around and say, well, this is who watches that, and this is kind of the damage that's being done to them. Really, so I really enjoyed it. I think it's a slow burn film that's going to catch up on you a few days after you watch it. So that's my thoughts on The Bling Ring. If you've seen it, write your thoughts down below. And as always, thank you for tuning in to Beyond the Trailer for the latest movie news and reviews like this. Thanks for watching. Bye.